Hi, this is Kim Jones of Jones Strength Sports and Performance. And what I got for you guys today is a video on step ups. It's a basic movement, and I'm sure people think it's really easy, but if you do it right, you'll get proper activation, your glutes and your hamstrings. But I'd say 95% of the time I see people do this exercise, or even when I see trainers having their clients do this exercise, they're doing it wrong. So if you check out the next few clips that I've got, they've been imported through Coach's Eye, and I've basically put cues and marks on the video so you can see the three common things that I want to focus on. One is going to be not driving through the top heel, the foot that's on top of the bench. Two is going to be bouncing off that bottom leg, so it's not really truly a single leg movement. And then three is going to be collapsing at the waist and not really engaging the core. So hopefully you guys can grab something from this video and feel something a little different when you do this on your own. Check it out.
Okay, so we'll see, to start this movement, I've got three markings here. That green circle is to bring your eyes towards my heel. The red arrow is just kind of pointing towards that. Really, I just wanted you to focus on that front foot. You want to drive through your heel on a step up. That's going to get the glutes fired and the hamstrings fired, so you're really driving through the hip. And if your heel is hanging off the bench, I always have to kind of coach my athletes up on this, then you can't drive through it. You'll be driving through the balls of your feet. That's going to be a lot of quad activation. And if you're an athlete, and you know that your go muscles are going to be your glutes and your hamstrings. So that's one way to definitely ensure that you'll get that activation. The white box is just to draw your eyes towards my knee. You want to keep that knee locked. For this to be a true single leg movement, you can't cheat and bounce off that bottom leg. And I'm going to have visuals of that a little bit later. But you'll notice red arrow, green circle, driving through, keeping the chest tall, and utilizing force production through that one leg and driving through that top leg. That's what you want to do when you do a step up. And then I've got a variation here. What I have my athletes do is drive that knee up. So I want to try to keep the heel under the hamstring. I'm really driving that knee up high, but the goal is to kind of work on just sprint mechanics. Now if you'll see right here my waist, there's a little bit of forward lean. I mean, I want to try to minimize that as much as possible. That's not bad, but you'll see videos of me completely collapsing, the wrong way to do it. But ultimately, this is what you want a step up to look like from the side. Keeping that chest up tall, not letting the mid-back or the lower back collapse. And then if we come to the front, what you want are these three joints. You want your knee, my hip would be right there, but you want those really to be in a straight line. Same thing, drive up through the heel. If you look at my knee, my knee doesn't collapse in. It stays right in line with my hip and my ankle. Okay? And that's just kind of what it looks like from the front. Okay, so here you'll see right off the bat, what I'm going to do is bend that bottom leg on the ground, drive. That's an exaggeration. It's usually not that bad. But basically I'm bouncing and using momentum from that bottom leg and really just finishing half of the movement. About right here is probably the only time I'm using any kind of, not isolation, but anytime I'm actually just depending on that top leg on the bench. So again, bouncing up, it's not what you want to do. This is what you want to do, where you try to stay tall, drive through that heel. Again, I'm collapsing a little bit at the waist, but I'm actually going to show you what a really bad version of that is. That's what we don't want, is as we step up, just completely bending forward. That means the weight's too heavy. And believe me, you can do this body weight actually to start and notice a difference with driving all through that top leg and how much more activation you'll get, because it's truly more of a single leg motion, driving through the top leg. This is what we also don't want. This is another exaggeration, but you don't want that knee collapsing in towards the midline, or it's called valgus. That means you got weak glutes and hamstrings, so you're not able to stabilize your knee when you're stepping up. I see that a lot too, in lunges as well. Squats, that's bad news. That's an ACL waiting to happen if you're an athlete. So this is basically how I would have people just learning how to do this exercise, body weight. I call them prisoners, hands behind the head, which allows them to pull the shoulder blades back and kind of mimic having maybe a bar on their back. But you'll see same movement, driving through the bottom heel, making sure not to really extend the low back too much so it's in hyperextension, but to at least activate that low back so it's an extension to try to prevent that forward lean or that collapse of the trunk. And also as a reminder to puff that chest out, pull the shoulder blades back, I'm off balance there a little bit, and to stay tall during the movement. And then here's the knee drive, working on sprint mechanics. Any kind of athlete that's going to sprint, I have them do this variation. And it also engages the core too at the top because you're balancing on one leg.